I'm on a mission to improve my health, drop the weight that I've gained over the last 6 months, and to run my 100-mile race. So if you want to follow along, you know what to do. Over the last 6 months, I've been working my way back from an injury. Hi, my name is David, and I'm the plant-powered runner. I've been on a journey the last year and a half to improve my fitness, lose the weight, to get faster, all using slow heart rate training, aka the Maffetone Method. Now, I've seen a lot of success. And like you, I was skeptical at first. I didn't know how it was all gonna work, but I did it. And now that I've been off for the last 6 months, not really running consistently, it's time I focus on my health, on my fitness, on my eating habits and sleep, and make this comeback a reality. If you're interested and you want to follow along on my crazy adventure, then like, subscribe, hit the bell so you stay notified on all my videos when they come live. At the beginning, I didn't know how slow heart rate training was going to make me faster. Not a clue. But I have learned a number of things. Now, the way that this program works is taking 180 minus your age, and that is the heart rate that you're going to be training at for all your runs, because this is base building. This is full-on base building. It has nothing to do with speed. So you want to do this for about anywhere from 3 to 6 months. It's a good way to build fitness, to reduce the injuries, to get faster at the same heart rate. Ideally, what you want to do is you want to go to a track. Now, the reason I say a track is because it's flat. You go around in circles. You're not dealing with cars or traffic or anyone on the sidewalk or anything like that. Literally, you can just plug into your headphones and run. And what you'll want to do is you'll either want to do 3 or 6 mile test. And all you do is just run at your heart rate. That's it. It just had to be done. Yes, I'm talking about my MAF test. If I'm going to be going down this road again, I have to know what my benchmark is moving forward in a way to track my progress. And so, yeah, you know, it's raining, it's cold. I just didn't want to get out there. And to be quite honest, I didn't even want to know what my numbers were. But again, just being honest on how I felt. It was an impromptu, it wasn't planned. It literally just kind of fell on my lap. I went out for a run and I'm like, all right, I guess it's time to do the test. So that's what I just finished doing. I'm optimistic though. I'm optimistic. There's a number of things that you're gonna need to know. And one of them is you're gonna do this test every month for as long as you're training. Okay, because you need to see results, or you need to see if you're not improving. And this is a great way to do it. Now, if you don't have a track, I understand. Find a route on the road and run that same route every MAF test that you do each month. Try not to run it every day, because otherwise you're trying to compare yourself each and every day, and it doesn't work like that. Because your diet is going to affect how your training goes. All right, so don't be eating all the processed junk. You want to remove that. You want to try to eat you ideally want to eat a very high fat diet, right? For me, I eat a lot of avocados. Eating asparagus, broccoli, cauliflower, spinach, tomatoes. These are all very low carbohydrate foods. You want to ditch the grains, right? They're not very helpful, especially, you know, white bread and bagels and things of that nature, pasta. Try to stay away from that. I've noticed a big difference when I've removed that from my diet. You also want to remove all and any sugar. Now, yeah, you can train, you can continue to do what you're doing, but just know that sugar's got a lot of effects with inflammation along with the grains. So ideally, you'd like to stay away from that. First off, you can't outrun a bad diet, but you can't outrun lack of sleep. It's gonna catch up to you and it's gonna hit you hard. You cannot continue to burn the candle at both ends and expect to see some great results. So make sure that you're at least getting 7 hours. Try, do your best. Environmental conditions are gonna play a big factor. Whether it is too hot, too cold, too windy, your heart rate is going to be affected. It's just a given, right? It's just gonna happen, right? When you're base building, you may actually have to walk. You may have to go all the way back down to ground zero and walk, and it's gonna humble you. You're gonna be so upset, you're gonna be mad, you're gonna be frustrated, you're gonna be kicking and screaming, and you're gonna wanna give up. And that's on you. If you wanna give up, by all means, trust me, I've been there, I've wanted to do it so many times. But if you stick with it, and you stay consistent, and you up your mileage, you will see the results. It will happen. It's not the distance that matters, it's the time on your feet. So if you're going out for an hour, go out for an hour. Don't run and round up the number. Because I know we as runners, we like to round up the numbers. Okay, I get it. But again, you don't want to do that, all right? Now, what you'll notice is if you keep running an hour a day and work your way up to maybe an hour and a half one day a week or 2 days a week, and then maybe get a 2-hour run in on the weekend, right? Every week. Again, it's something you kind of want to build up to. So I find the sweet spot for me is about 8 hours. That is a really, really good number for me. It may not be for you because of work, family, all those other factors, but for me, it tends to work really nicely. So I went to the track today, guys. I ended up at the track because I don't know what happened. I went out for a run, and I've been kind of putting this off. I didn't want to do it because I didn't want to know what my numbers were. And since coming back from, the last 6 months of not really consistently running or having a plan and trying to deal with my knee, I've now come to the realization that, I needed to go ahead and do it to know where I am. And guess what? I don't think it's as bad as it seems. So with that, why don't we go in and let's look at the numbers and see where I'm at compared to when I started Maffetone training back in 2019. So let us look at the numbers for the last number of MAF tests that I've done since the beginning. So I've got 2019 in September, I've got December, and then I've got May of last year, October of last year, and May of this year. So kind of where I started was, this was my very first MAF test right here, guys. So those are my numbers. Right, 824, 829, 821, 838, 826, right? So that's what I started off with. So I wanted to know where these numbers here, right, for today, right, 740, 741, 749, 733, 738, 732, and 730 would look like in the scale. So it looks like, obviously, my last one, October, was pretty good, right? So 537, 556, 557, 557, 6016, right? So those are good, right? But I'm certainly nowhere near that. So am I where I was about a year ago, right? No, because I was 602, 610, 612, 610, 615, 615, and 612. Not there. So I have to go back to December of 2019. So like this went September, October, November, December. So 4 months of MAF training, kind of here. Not exactly, maybe 3 months. And so I look at the numbers and it's like 753, 742, 745, 736, 740, 743. All right. So I kind of look and go, all right, you know what? I would probably categorize myself as that in that zone, right? So I'm not quite in the December. I'm a little faster than that. But overall, I would say I'm probably the end of that year. So kind of going into it, I've got some work to do, obviously, right? And if I take a look at the last or the first 3 kilometers, like kilometer 3, and I go along the line, right? So 749, right? 557 back in October of last year, May of last year, 812, December of 2019, 742, And September, the very first one I did, was 8:21. So kind of looking at the numbers and trying to gauge how long it's going to take me to get back to kind of where I was. If I look at this, I'm probably going to say I've got a good 4 months. I'm going to say 4 months. I've got 4 months, I think I can probably get back. So if we are May right now, so we've got May, June, July, August. So I'm thinking by basically at the end of August, I should be close to where I was, right? Where before I got injured. That is the hope. That's the goal. That's where I am in my head as to where I think I will be. So hopefully you found this helpful, interesting, and all I was using was a Google Doc. Nice and simple. I just plugged in the numbers and away I went. So hopefully your running is going well. Now, how much is too much? And this is a super important fact, guys. You can run too much and you can get an overuse injury. I can raise my hand. That was me. That was my knee, and it happened, okay? So yeah, I was able to complete my 50 miler, and that was awesome, but I also picked up an injury. Came back too fast. So you gotta be aware of your body. Now, I've talked about this in my other videos, and one of the things is you have to make sure that you are foam rolling, that you are doing your dynamic stretches, that you are doing your warm-up before you go for a run, right? And then when you finish, make sure you do your static stretches, right? Super important. And if you wanna be consistent, you gotta come up with a reason why you wanna do this method, because if you don't, you're gonna give up, guys. So figure out what that why is, why you wanna do it. Write it on a calendar, write it on your training plan, put it on the refrigerator, or write it on the mirror. And that will always bring you back, right? It'll ground you as to what it is, why you're doing this. Stress is gonna be a factor. If you're under a lot of stress at work or family, then guess what, guys? Your heart rate's gonna be elevated, and at the end of the day, it's gonna play a factor in this whole method as well. So just know that, and if you notice that your heart rate is up, higher than it would normally be, there could be some of those factors. Caffeine raises my heart rate. It just does. I don't know if it does for you, but kind of keep an eye on the amount of coffee you're having, because the amount of coffee you have, you also may have sugar in your coffee, and that also plays into it. Hills are going to play a big factor. You may have to walk up the hills, hike up the hills, and just know when your heart rate, if your heart rate is at its maximum MAF number, then it's okay if you're walking, it's okay if you're hiking, and it's okay if you're running. As long as your number is there. You have a zone, right? You got 10 beats on either end, right? So if you're in that zone, that's where you want to be. Now, look, I know that this method works, and I know it's just a randomized number that Dr. Phil came up with, and the numbers seem to work, guys. The best way to know what your zones are is to go get tested in a lab. I get that. But for the average recreational runner, this is a good metric to use, right? It's a good tool to help you stay on track so you're not running too fast and then burning out and getting sick, all right? So yes, I am well aware that it is not perfect. And there's so many other ways that you can train. This is just about base building. I'm not talking about speed, okay? I'm just talking about getting faster using aerobic base training, okay? That's what I'm talking about. If you want to see other videos about how to improve your running using Maffetone method, you can go ahead and click right here, or you can click right here. Some really good videos that'll help. Like I always say, everyone, get out and run. See ya.